Prue and Dannielle are identical twins, but they're not actually identical. They have different genes. And their story offers a rare insight into what happens in the first 9 months. The sisters' lives have taken them down very different roads.
So when we were younger, Dannielle and I were really close and looked exactly the same and were inseparable in everything from the way that we dressed to doing all of our activities together.
But as we got older, our relationship as a twin grew further apart.
I wanted to be more of an individual and not be seen as a twin.
I'll just classify as we're just sisters, you know, not like how normal twins are, that they've got a really, really close bond and things like that. We're just like sisters.
But there's one obvious distinction between these twins. Dannielle has a severe form of epilepsy called Dravet Syndrome.
So it's a bit like having a spark there. You can feel the spark happening, and then a couple of seconds later you can feel it producing. I get terrible dread. I lose my speech, and it goes more further into symptoms before I actually black out and start convulsing.
Too slow. Up high. Good girl.
Sam Berkovic and Ingrid Schaefer are world-leading epilepsy researchers. Their work with Prue and Dannielle has profoundly changed our understanding of epilepsy and the genetics of heritable diseases.
So the observation that Dannielle had Dravet syndrome and her sister Prue did not was a remarkable chance to make an important biological observation. It immediately suggested to us that this was a window into what was going on in terms of how such changes in the gene or mutations might develop. And we wondered how this might have happened and when it might have occurred.
The sisters are the only known identical twins in which only one of the pair has Dravet syndrome. This gave Sam and Ingrid a unique opportunity to pinpoint the exact moment when the mutation occurred in Dannielle.
We looked at 5 tissues in both girls, and we found that the mutation was present in all 5 tissues in Dannielle, but not present in any of Prue's tissues. So that tells us that the mutation, the abnormality in the gene, occurred after twinning. The identical twins split, and then Dannielle developed the mutation.
This told us that the change in Dannielle must have happened extremely early, probably at the 2 or 4 cell stage. There is no way one could have inferred that from studying just single individuals. That was the beauty of the twins. So this then led to a biological principle that mutations could occur essentially at any time in the sexual cycle. That is, in the original sperm, or in the original egg, or at very shortly after fertilisation.
While there is no history of epilepsy in her family, the gene mutation means that Dannielle has acquired a disease that can be passed on to her children.
I just remember my dad calling and saying that Jane was having her first seizure.
Dannielle's youngest daughter has inherited the condition.
She's had seizures, but she hasn't had very many. She hasn't had a medication increase for a very, very, very long time. And she's gone well over 7.5 months without a seizure.
Jane has had some episodes of prolonged seizures. One of the good things is she's been seizure-free now for some months, and we have her on the right medication to minimise her seizures. She is doing really well. Her parents are fantastic. So everything's in place for Jane's development to be as good as possible.
We now understand that genes are not always a fixed and unchanging inheritance. They can, very rarely, mutate, generally in small ways in early development.